So over the weekend, WikiLeaks released a massive dump of 20,000 DNC emails, and they all show that the Democratic Party was biased against Bernie Sanders from the start, and they were actively plotting with the media to destroy Bernie Sanders. So let's jump into some of the most damning and ridiculous emails inside of this leak. So number one, some emails confirm that the DNC planted stories in the Washington Post and other media outlets against Bernie Sanders. So all these BS Washington Post stories about Bernie Sanders trying to increase spending by $18 trillion and the laundry list of other ridiculous and slandering stories. Some of them were produced and planted by the Democratic Party themselves. And you're going to see that this is a common trend. The DNC working with the mainstream media to control the narrative and make the narrative one that is anti-Bernie Sanders, just rigging the game against him and his campaign. So let's continue on here. The DNC, they also admit in these emails that the Hillary Clinton campaign was paying online trolls to combat pro-Bernie people online. So if you're a staunch Bernie supporter like myself, you know that sometimes we go online putting Bernie's name out there, and then all of a sudden, you just have these little annoying BS-filled idiots just spewing out Hillary Clinton talking points. Yeah, they might have just been paid online trolls, and that's freaking sad. Like, you are so ridiculous that you have to pay people to support you. That's so sad. Like, you're just a political bum. Your message is a complete weak sauce to the point where you have to pay people to be excited about you. God, screw Hillary Clinton, man, and screw the DNC. But yo, we haven't even gotten to the worst ones yet. Okay, so another email chain. It shows that the DNC and Hillary Clinton's campaign, they were putting moles inside of the Bernie Sanders campaign to get information. The Democratic Party, they were planting moles inside of Bernie's campaign. And they were using the information they picked up to try and destroy it. This is incredible, man. Like, this is the state of the American democracy. There were also emails from a top DNC official trying to get reporters to ask Bernie Sanders about his atheism right before the Kentucky and West Virginia primaries. So the Democratic Party, they wanted to out Bernie Sanders as an atheist, hoping that it would harm his chances of winning Kentucky and winning West Virginia and winning the nomination. So number one, it's ridiculous that they would even consider using anti-atheist bigotry to get ahead. Like, how silly is that? How backwards is that? That in 2016, your lack of belief in a sky god will be used against you. But number two, it shows yet again the DNC trying to plot with the media against Bernie Sanders and just doing it shamelessly, just boldly and shamelessly. Amazing, man. And this last one right here, it should make everyone's blood boil. So, Mika Brzezinski on MSNBC, she said on air on her show Morning Joe that Debbie Wasserman Schultz, former DNC chair, she was being extremely biased against Bernie Sanders. Mika said that the primary was being poorly handled from the start, that it was unfair, and that Debbie Wasserman Schultz stepped down. And Debbie went off in response. She said in an email that this is the last straw. Please call Phil Griffin. This is outrageous. She needs to apologize. Now, who's Phil Griffin? That's the president of MSNBC. So the leader of a major political party, she talked to the president of MSNBC to try and shut Mika up, to try and squash out any truth about the DNC's anti-Bernie bias. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she also got in touch with Chuck Todd. Now, who's that? Chuck Todd is the chief political correspondent of MSNBC. She said, I've been talking to Phil about it since our breakfast. So once she got in touch with Chuck Todd, asking to meet with him, Chuck, being the establishment prick that he is, he thanked Debbie Wasserman Schultz for even reaching out to him, and he set up a meeting. So the leader of the Democratic Party collaborated with the media to try and continue the anti-Bernie Sanders narrative. Don't forget all the other bombshells in this leak about trying to plant reporters, planting moles in Bernie's campaign, the Hillary Clinton campaign, paying online trolls, planting stories in the Washington Post. From the start, the Democratic Party tried to control the narrative. So instead of the American people getting a fair and accurate picture of the 2016 election, it was distorted against Bernie Sanders and in favor of Hillary Clinton. I mean, this doesn't even have to do with the DNC, but on the night before the California primary, you had the entire mainstream media report that Hillary Clinton had clinched the Democratic nomination, even though she hadn't. They were counting superdelegates who hadn't voted yet and won't vote until the convention, which is happening right now. That was 2 months ago. Yeah, about 2 months ago. Don't you think that telling millions of people that Hillary Clinton had won the nomination, don't you think that suppressed voter turnout and hurt Bernie's chances of winning California, the largest state in the country? Of course it did. Man, the establishment as a whole, the media establishment, the political establishment, the economic establishment, everybody in the elite of this country, they rigged the game against Bernie Sanders from the start. And even then, we still got 45% of the delegates at the convention. We still got 43% of the popular vote. We still got millions of people involved in the political process. Young and old, rich and poor, white, black, brown, purple, with the entire system rigged against us. Man, people have been woken up. I'm going to use that. I'm not really the best at grammar, but yeah, people have been waking up. And the revolution, it's not going anywhere, okay? It's just getting started. Now, I'm going to make this last point right here. And I want everybody to listen up because it's extremely important. I find it hilarious that America, we want to think of ourselves as just this beacon of democracy and hope and freedom. What is democratic about one of the two major political parties working together with the media against a presidential candidate? Rigging the game against that candidate, trying to destroy that candidate with a false narrative. Is that democratic? Is that fair? Is that balanced? Is that bringing power to the people? No, it's bringing power to the elite who control the economy, who control the media, who control the political system. So yeah, I'm disgusted by this email leak, and everybody else should be disgusted as well. This type of crap where a political party is trying to destroy one of their candidates and misinform millions of people. That's happening in our country. I'm disgusted, man. I'm ashamed. This isn't a democracy. In so many ways, we operate as the opposite of a democracy. So don't tell me again that this is some perfect, rosy, democratic country that has the right to go around the world telling everybody else how to be democratic. When a country allows its elite to rig the game against a presidential candidate, that's shameful. And it's the exact opposite of what a democracy is supposed to represent. So closing words here. Screw you, Democratic Party. It's because of crap like this that I'm going Green Party and I'm supporting Jill Stein.